Alright, hey guys, what's going on? It's me, DadFat, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm actually going to go over my OBS settings. I use OBS Studio a lot, and it's just something I've been using over the past few years that has really been, pretty much the driving force or the driving software behind me making my content. Yeah, I'm here to show you my settings. Speaking of which, I did get a new computer. A lot of people have been asking me like what settings I use, what do I render with. If you guys want a video on my Sony Vegas rendering like settings, I can definitely do that for you. I'm not as experienced in Sony Vegas, but in OBS I would at least consider myself very, advanced when it comes to OBS. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. Alright, so first of all, in this top corner right here, you're going to want to be in the latest version of your OBS, or the OBS that is the latest version out right now, okay? And the settings might be different if you're watching this further down the line, but OBS would most likely stay relatively in the same guidelines as it is now, so don't be surprised if a lot of things haven't changed. Right now I'm in 24.0.3 on the 64-bit system. Also get the 64-bit if you're running a 64-bit operating system, or the 32-bit if you're getting 32. So, yeah, either way. Next are the scenes. I have these split up between recordings and live streams. So, a lot of this will end up being like, for my recordings, I have my display capture and my game capture, but it really just depends on what you're recording. So I have good experience with display and game capture. It really just depends on what you want to use it for. So if you're doing something like this, use display capture, I can turn it off and I can turn it back on. Or if you're recording a video game, you can turn game capture on or turn game capture back off. Next, you want to go into your audio settings. So a lot of people have been asking like, what do you use like microphone wise? And I just have a USB microphone. It's really nothing special, but it's a headset mic. From my experience with it, it sounds really nice, and I'm glad it's kept me going for this long. I've had it for like 3 years, so I would definitely recommend this headphone, or like these headphones. They're very good quality, and I've got a lot of performance out of them, so it works very well. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and get into our actual settings here. So we're going to open these up, and then in general, you don't really want to change anything. For me personally, there's a lot of these just don't really look the best. Personally, I just stick to the dark default, but that's just me. Depending on what you guys want to do, I will go over all the options for them out right now. You can obviously look through them, and then it changes as you go. So yeah, I just keep it at dark default. Alright, so if you're going to be streaming, I suggest if you're streaming on YouTube, go to YouTube Gaming and then the primary YouTube ingest server. Those are the usual two that I just use for streaming, and then obviously your stream key. Next up on the list, you want to go to Output, and this is where most of the settings are actually going to come from. Basically, all my settings are in the advanced option. Simple isn't very good for streaming and recording. For recording, or like for streaming in this case, I have it as the Avc Encoder, which is the AMD Advanced Media Framework. What is it? It's their AMD drivers. It's how they pump out their content. So the presets YouTube streaming, I just keep it balanced. It gets a good quality of both in there. What is it? Constant bitrate, it's fine with me. Let's see, prepass mode, I actually don't know what that does, so I kept that at disabled. I didn't see a difference between the two when I tested them, so yeah. My bitrate's about 9,000. You can amp this up depending on how good your computer is. The target bitrate's usually it's usually the quality in your video. So usually if you want something in really high quality, you'll amp that up till about... For recording, I'll show you in recording what happens when it's the reason the video looks like this instead of something like super choppy and laggy. Next, the keyframe interval, it's about 2. Then we keep it at basic. It just makes it easy, and I only use one audio track for my microphone, or at least right now. Okay, so for recording, this is like a bulk of the settings in here, and personally, I changed this quite a bit This is just the settings I have on it right now, but yeah, I mean, most of it's pretty normal. I mean, the type is standard. I just have it saved to my, what is it? I just have it saved to my saved recording spot. It saves in MP4. We got the AVC encoder again. There's options here. I personally recommend, if you're using AMD like I am, I would use the one that's not the, what is it, the 5. I've had worse experiences with HE than AV. So I think AV, and personally, in my opinion, works a lot better for recording. Let's see, streaming, I'm using the exact same one. So I would say AV is a lot better than the HE, unless, you know, something doesn't work on your computer. Then try both. They're both not bad. It's just, personally, I like the 264 instead. For the Rescale output, I have that checked, and I have the, what is it? I have it saved to 1920 by 1080. It just means that your video is going to come out in the best quality possible. 1080p is about all it registers on YouTube unless you're doing 1440. So, and I don't have a 1440 monitor, so I can't really do that. But yeah, 1920 by 1080 would work. The preset, I don't have it set to anything right now. It could really be anything, depending on what you're trying to use it for. So if you wanted something like a stream highlight, I'm pretty sure YouTube streaming is something that you'd probably want to look into. Or for recording, I could save that to recording. I might test that another time, but right now it is none. Quality preset, I have that at balanced. Rate control method, I have that at variable bit rate. Sorry, my bad. Peak constrained and the VBR, just so you guys know. Prepass mode, I have it disabled. Target bit rate, I have mine at 25,000. It just gets the, if you think about it, the bigger the bitrate is, the more it's going to take up space on your computer. So I don't know how much this video is going to take up. I may flash a screenshot on how much space it takes up, depending on with these settings, for a certain amount of time. So if you guys want to scale it, that would work fine. Keyframe interval, it's about 2. It's usually pretty default. View mode basic. You don't want to go anything further than that, and then you uncheck debug. Next, we're going to head into audio. I don't have it switched right now, but personally, I would go with the 48K. It makes the audio clearer, and I don't know why I didn't switch it before this. I guess I just didn't think of it. But, yeah, I mean, personally, you don't really want to change anything in here other than the sample rate. So, stereo is just normal. It's how you, listen through your speakers in your headphones, or just speakers out, like on your desk or something like that. Or Bluetooth speakers, that would work too. For your microphone, it's just how it gets over here. So, I have my mic auxiliary audio as my mic/aux over here, and that works fine with me. Everything else is the same, so I don't think you really need anything to change here. If you guys really want to copy down stuff, here you go. But yeah. Alright, we're going to go into the video settings now. I record my videos in 1080p 60, and I render in 1080p 60. So it's going to be, if you're wanting something like 1280 720, then all you have to do is hit down, and it'll probably appear. Most likely it will give you options for this. If your computer can run 1920 by 1080, I recommend you do it. The frame rate, though, is really up to you. I've had experience in both of these. 59.94 is about normal for like shooters and stuff in CSGO. So yeah, and in Sony Vegas, this is the only one that shows up. Actually, there's no 60. So I don't know, but I just record in 60 because it makes it easier, and then you disable the resample in Sony Vegas. So yeah. And then hotkeys or personal preference. If you want to start your recording, I have it set to numpad plus. And then if you want to pause your recordings or unpause your recordings, you can hit other things and stuff like that. So, and start streaming, you can hit stream keys and stuff. I think I usually just hit start stream, and then I just go into, go into actually like streaming. And then for the advanced settings, nothing changes in here. Literally nothing. I don't mess with this. The reason I don't mess with this is because it gives you a lot of complicated stuff that you just don't want to mess with. If you're new to OBS Studio in particular, This is a bitch to set up. It's a bitch. And I hate it personally. But, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video on my OBS settings. I appreciate all of you. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like. If you do have any questions on OBS stuff in general, leave it in the comments down below. I'll be happy to answer. And, yeah. Until then, I will see you later, my guys. Peace out.